Hey everyone, Tara Lynn here. Welcome to Pinkoween, where I'm doing 15 pink and orange inspired videos for Halloween. I'm going to put our color palette up on the screen here. Of course, you can use any pinks and oranges that you like, but I've got Joyful Pink, Bubblegum Pink, Jack-o'-lantern Orange, Fresh Mango, Lamp Black, and Titanium White. That's the color palette I'll be using this month. And I would love it if you would dot along with me. Today I've got a 4-inch surface painted black, and I've got my 16 arm stencil on there. And I am ready to get dotting. So go ahead and get your colors out. I am going to begin with my pink center, Joyful Pink. I'm just going to stir up my paint a little bit here. It's been sitting out. All right, so for my center dot, I'm going to use a 12mm tool. This is a big honkin' dot. I don't usually go this big on a small piece, but I am shaking things up today. All right, 12mm center. Sometimes these larger dots need a smidge of adjusting. I think that one's pretty round, so I am happy. So I use my dark pink 12mm. Then I'm going to use my 1.5mm stylus and my light pink. And we are going to do a ring of 16 around the center, 1.5mm light pink. Sixteen lovely dots, one on every line. Next, I'm going to get my 2mm stylus and my light orange. And we're going to do a ring of offset dots. So these go in between the previous row. 2mm, another ring of 16. And I'm going to do another ring. Again, I'm going to offset this with my dark orange 3 millimeters. These fall on the lines. All right, next, I'm going to go back to dark pink. I've got my 6 millimeter tool. Just inside this ring. So I want to leave a little room between this dot and the orange ring that we had. So I'm going to do every other line. That was 6 millimeters dark pink, every other line. I'm going to take my 2 millimeter tool. I'm going to use a light pink. I'm going to place a center dot. We're going to walk the dots on each side. I want a 2 millimeter center dot. And I'm going to walk the dots in 1.5 millimeters. I'm placing my center dot first. Then I'm going to use my 1 millimeter end and walk the dots on each side. Next, I'm going to get my 3mm tool. I'm going to add another layer to this petal. I'm going to use the light orange, 3mm for my center dot. Three millimeters light orange. Then I'm going to walk the dots on each side with my 2mm and light orange. Now you're going to notice that there is space down here in between the petal and these rings. And I did that intentionally. And what we're going to do next is I am going to swipe some lines. We are going to start from right kind of where this line is in the middle. And we're going to go down into the center dot here, like where that empty space is. So I'm going to use my 2mm tool and dark orange, and I'm going to dip and swipe, and then dip and swipe, so that each of these petals kind of has a base. I saw this in another pattern that I was working on. It felt kind of spiderwebby to me, so I really liked it for this Halloween. All right, next I am going to get my 4mm tool. I'm going to get my dark pink. And up above each one of these petals, I'm going to place a 4mm dot. my dark pink 4 millimeters every other line. I'm going to go back to my 2 millimeter stylus and my light pink. And we're going to add some swipes. So this time, I'm going to dip. I'm going to start up by this dot and I'm going to swipe downward. I'm going to get my 6 millimeter tool. I'm going to use dark orange. In these spaces, I'm going to place a 6 millimeter dot. Oops. Dipped in the wrong paint. Dark orange, 6 millimeters. Every other line in between these petals. I'm going to get my 3 millimeter stylus. And just above this, I'm going to create what I call a triple dot crown. I do this a lot in my pieces. And that's where I dip and dot slightly to the right, dip and dot slightly to the left, and then dip and dot in the middle. I'm going to do these for all of these dark orange dots we just made, using the light orange right above it. I'm going to get my 1.5 millimeter tool. I'm going to continue using the light orange, and then on each side, I'm going to swipe. So little bitty swipes on each side of these dots. 1.5 millimeters, light orange. You'll notice for this design, I didn't use any of my white and black. I am going to skip that for these. If you want to, you can incorporate that for top dots. I'm really happy with the way this looks as is, so I don't believe I'm even going to add top dots. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to call this one Pretty Potion. I really like how it turned out. Thank you for joining me for Pinkoween video 8, which I'm calling Pretty Potion. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to have 15 videos with an orange and pink palette for Pinkoween 2025. So if you've enjoyed this content, I would love it if you'd give a thumbs up to this video and follow me on YouTube. That's where you'll find the rest of my Pinkoween content, as well as lots of other fun videos. And I hope to see you in the next video.